There were many heroes in law enforcement last week in Boston, but this morning we want you to meet 4 men. They took the most wanted man in America into custody. Senior correspondent John Miller is back with us. John.
Good morning, Charlie. These 4 men were called into action as dusk was falling on Boston, and it appeared the sole surviving bomber was nowhere to be found.
John Fight!
With the city of Boston still in lockdown Friday, officers Kenny Tran, Sarah Thompson, Jeff Campbell, and Detective Brian Harrer of the Transit Police SWAT team got the call they were waiting for. What's the first thing you hear when that bell rings?
An officer calling out shots fired over the radio. That's when we just grabbed our gear again and ran back outside, got in the truck and started heading in that direction.
In your mind, what did you think you were going into?
We knew we were going into what I believe was the culmination of this whole week.
It was a week that saw 2 terrorists paralyze the city and critically wound Richard Donahue, a fellow transit police officer who was on their mind that night.
To us, we're all family to each other, you know, and always watching each other's backs. It's very important.
They soon found themselves on the scene where Johar Tsarnaev was hiding on a boat, and they got an assignment. They would be the arrest team.
Once that got to the point where they were actually had some kind of dialogue with the suspect on the boat, they wanted a plan put in place. That way, if he did decide to turn himself in, that way we could just get in there and just go ahead and make the arrest.
At some point, they call and say, all right, arrest team, move in. What happens from there?
We all jumped in the stack and we started to move up towards the boat after we were given the green light to go.
Now you're moving towards an individual who has allegedly killed 1 officer, severely wounded another, one of your own partners. What goes through your mind as you're approaching this boat in the stack?
I think at times like that, you can't think about what has happened in the past. You know you're going after a dangerous suspect, but you still have to keep your mind in the game.
And so their minds were in the game as they approached the boat. What's the first you see of the suspect?
I saw the suspect sitting up on the, I believe it's called the gunnel of the boat, with one leg hanging over the side, and his hands were just sort of down by his side. He looked weak, he was shaky, appeared to be losing consciousness, and did have some wounds to his body.
And what are you telling him to do?
We're commanding him to get down off the boat because we don't know what he has on the inside of that gunnel, where his other hand is. We don't know if he has a weapon or some type of explosive ignition switch that he could just reach down and hit.
Is he answering?
He's not. He's not. He's just kind of staring at us. We waited to a point where, as we were getting closer to him and both hands came up, we saw that both hands were open. We bolted out in front of the shield at that point. It was the one chance we had, and we wanted to end this for everybody.
I'm wondering what it's like when you're in a tactical mode. You think, I have a suspect. He may have a bomb on him.
Well, just your training kick in, you know. You can't be scared. You just got to do the task at hand.
So it becomes a little bit of muscle memory.
Yep.
Once in custody, the officers searched Johar for any weapons or explosives. Who cuffs him?
I cuffed him.
With the cuffs you carry all the time?
Yes.
And what was it like to be the person who put the handcuffs on probably the most wanted man anywhere?
At that time, you don't think about that. I just put the cuffs on, brought his hand around, somebody else holding the other hand. These guys will help me along with other people. We cuffed the other hand, and we just moved out.
Does it run like a movie through your head?
Everything ran like a movie through my head, just thinking about what we did, how we did it. Just the satisfaction of knowing that we could tell Officer Donahue that we got him, which we did today. We walked into the room, and we told him we got him, and it does feel good after a while.
These SWAT officers don't consider themselves heroes, just ordinary men called in extraordinary circumstances to do their jobs.
The law enforcement officers, the firefighters, the EMTs, and the civilians, the families that were at the bombing on Marathon Day, everybody in the city acted, I think, as one family. They were phenomenal.
Man, that is mesmerizing. What about the handcuffs?
Well, so their plan was to get the handcuffs and present them to Officer Donahue's family, saying, as he fights to recover in the hospital, these are the handcuffs, you know, that we put on the bad guy who did this to him. Unfortunately, the handcuffs went off with the prisoner into the ambulance, and that officer wants his handcuffs back.
Yeah, as a memento.
Well, they're gonna mount it on a plaque and give it to the family. And I said, do you have the serial number for your handcuffs? He says, there's a name on it. I said, is it your name? He said, no, it's another name. I'm like, so you stole these handcuffs from somebody else, and now somebody took them from you? He said, well, never mind that. We'll find them.
And as you pointed out, Officer Donahue was a transit police officer. This just happened to be transit police SWAT.
You know, Nora, they're at the scene. It's chaos, and the FBI hostage rescue team tactical commander starts to dole out assignments. Your perimeter, your cover, watch your crossfire. You guys will be the arrest team. And they're like, we're going to be the arrest team on the guys who shot Officer Donahue. It was coincidental, yet extraordinarily special for them.
Based on your experience, what kind of impact will this have on them?
I think it will have an impact, not just this incident, but the whole week. And I can tell you for sure that between the officers who were in the gun battle the day before and throughout that week, this is the kind of thing where they're going to need to slow down right after this. And it would probably be wise to seek some kind of counseling, because these guys are running and gunning all the time, but after a week like that and that kind of intensity, you really need to step back and take a look at how it affects you.
John Miller, thank you.